So hello student, welcome back, and today we are going to continue our series on revision for SPM paper. So this is previous video we did until question 8, and now we are going to continue with our so sorry about that. Let's continue. Okay, diagram 9 show a nuclear fission of a radioactive substance. So of course there are two nuclear process, correct or not? So one is
fission. What is fusion?
So what is the difference between fission and fusion?
Fission is combined together. Fission is separate.
Separate of what? Combine of what and separate of what?
Neutron.
Neutron.
Yeah.
So fusion and fission, we can see that the difference is there is either you want to fuse from the word fusion.
Yeah.
Is fuse together means there is a combination of combination of atom to form a single atom. Combination of two atoms to form a single atom, that's fusion. For example, in the sun, we can see that there is two hydrogen atom fused together become what? Two hydrogen become helium. So there is the possibility of two hydrogen atoms combined to become helium in the sun. So this is something that is very amazing, because usually we cannot change the substance of atom. It's like I'm giving you water, make it into a gold. You are changing the proton number. So previously, I think 50 or 100 years ago, they always believed that it is impossible to either change the proton number. There's impossible, but in the sun, due to the strong gravity of the sun, the massive gravity and the density able to pull the hydrogen atom into fuse together become a helium atom, and while doing this it release a lot of energy. So we have all the light energy from the fusion of the sun. But of course in the earth we only can experience fission. So fission is also from a single atom you can break it into two different atoms, which is something that 100 years ago, 100 or few hundred years ago, they won't believe this happened, because it's impossible to split the atom. They always believe that maybe atom is something that is not divisible, something that cannot be divided anymore. Means when you cut something, you cannot even cut that thing anymore. But with nowadays technology, we can even already do in World War II. We already know there is a nuclear reaction through nuclear fission, where we are able to split the atom. So this is something new. Fusion also the earth is doing. I thought it's impossible to do. Okay. So of course nowadays on the earth they are still doing the nuclear fusion. This is what they are trying to do, and I assume it will be 10 times or maybe 50 times more explosion than nuclear reaction. So I don't know, maybe in the future instead of creating nuclear fission that in Japan, Hiroshima and Nagasaki, I cannot even imagine what the world will be happening when they start World War with nuclear fusion. Okay, anyway, energy R. So what is energy R? And we can see this neutron, and of course there is two different atom. This is the two different atom. So energy R, what is energy R? So of course R is a nuclear energy. Ray X, what is ray X? What is ray X? Okay, very good. So this one will be radioactive
Radioactive ray.
ray, okay, which is very harmful to human. Can cause what if you are exposed to radioactive ray? What it can cause?
Cancer.
Yeah, it can cause cancer, skin cancer.
Cancer.
So due to this ray and the nuclear reaction, it will actually
Cell mutation.
yeah, it will cause mutation, and usually mutation is something that not good lah. Usually something that is very low percentage that it only happen to be good. Usually it's not good, and usually people will die after you get radioactive poison. Name R and Q already do. State the usage of energy R. So energy R, what is the usage? What is the usage of energy R?
Can be used to produce electricity.
Yes, very good. This one can be used to produce electric.
Can be used to produce electricity.
Yeah, okay. Anything lah, electricity or electric, which is Malaysia also is doing. I don't know for how long, but a lot of people say it's thought it's a bad thing. Is this a good thing or a bad thing? I think maybe Keba question will ask, nuclear energy, is it a good thing or bad thing?
If it's if they maintain it properly, then it's a good thing. If they don't really maintain it properly, then it will be a bad thing lah. Cause will cause a nuclear fallout.
Yeah, very good answer. Of course, actually, if not a good thing, then why human want to do it? Because actually, it actually is very cost efficient if you want to use nuclear to generate electric. And some people say, but Malaysia actually is not that environmental friendly, because the usage of Malaysia energy is 60% from coal. If I'm not mistaken, around 60% from coal and 30% from hydroelectric. So the coal actually also will produce a lot of carbon dioxide. And if you are saying you want to use hydroelectric also will affect the environment, because you need to build the dam, and the dam will start to destroy many usable habitat of the animal. So it is hydroelectric, and burning of coal is not a really efficient way. Malaysia is not using solar, Malaysia is not using biomass, Malaysia is using coal as the main source of energy. So this one is actually better than coal, because it is very cost efficient. Of course, like what the student answer, very good, because if you use it wisely, there we will be good. We will produce a lot of electricity, and if not properly maintained, it will cause maybe accident. That's why even in the tsunami time, at the explosion of Japan nuclear reactor.
Yeah.
But if I'm not mistaken, no people die. Even the nuclear energy explode, no people die, because they I think they planned properly, and they didn't build there near housing area. They built it somewhere far away, and it didn't cause any death even though the nuclear explode. Of course, it's a mistake lah. The mistake is actually they create the backup electric, because you need a backup electric to something happen. You need a backup electric to pump the water to cool down the nuclear reactor. But accident happened because it's due to tsunami, no electric, and they built their electric generator on the ground floor. That is the problem. So when you build the electric generator at ground floor, then when tsunami hit, then your the pump spoil, the water pump and the electric being cut off. So there's nothing to cool down the nuclear reactor, and last it explode. So next time, I don't know lah, you want to build up a bit, or now nuclear reaction don't even need the electric generator already. Now it's very high tech already. Even there is no electricity, nuclear reactor will not explode. You can reach Mars. This is the new technology lah. Bill Gates selling to China, then suddenly stop because of the trade war and so on. But you can this is a new technology. Ray X in the medical field. So what is ray? Ray Q is a radioactive which actually cause skin cancer. How can this be useful in medical field? Very good. So this one can be used to sterilize hospital equipment. Okay, this one can kill all the microorganism. Okay, so of course for also to kill cancer cell, this one if you want to write other answer, so wait, let's put it, change to other color. Okay, to kill cancer cell also can, because we know that the radioactive is harmful, so we can use it, the ray, to kill the cancer cell. We call it radiotherapy. We have a few therapy to cure cancer patient. One of it is called radiotherapy, and another one is called the chemotherapy. So
Yeah,
usually this is
chemotherapy.
the most, chemotherapy is the most famous one, or you want to use the radio. Chemotherapy means chemotherapy means they are using chemical. So using the chemical to you eat, you drink, or they put in your blood in order to kill the cancer cell. But this is a poison. So you are drinking poison. Eventually it also will kill your living cell. So
Yes.
so usually people also die. Radioactive is also the same. Though they shoot the radioactive to your body, at the same time they are also killing your good cell. So eventually the person will also die. That's why usually cancer, for stage 4 and so on, the survival rate is very low. But don't worry, there's a new technology coming, like I think DNA modification, that can even cure cancer. So this is I think the coming soon human will have the medicine to cure cancer already, using the way to modify the DNA. So because you got cancer because there's something wrong with the DNA, and if you can change the DNA, and then you, or I don't know how they do it lah, then you solve it. They are still almost coming out already. For rich people only lah, I think. State 1 method to detect the presence of Q. How to detect radioactive ray?
Geiger-Müller.
Geiger-Müller, very good. Geiger-Müller. So yeah, also you can detect the blockage in pipe. Also you can put in the pipe, and then you can detect which pipe there is a blockage. Also you can put in human. That's why there is a blockage in the, I forget what is the thing to detect the blockage of blood vessels. So they will put just a small amount of substance into your body, so that they can detect the place that got the most radioactive substance will be the blockage in your body. But of course, due to the half-life of the substance, it will disappear very fast. So we use that to put in the human body also, or you put it in the pipe to detect leakage or blockage. What is the effect on human being exposed to ray Q? What is the effect?
Mutation.
Mutation, very good. So mutation. So mutation is usually not something good lah. It will be causing a lot of things. That's why in the World War II, many people die due to the mutation that is happening to them. And after that, they keep this as a secret. They don't reveal this to the world because it's a very controversial topic, especially for US. US citizens don't know this actually. After World War II, all the picture of people dying and mutate, they didn't show it to the citizens of US because they thought that US is the so-called the good country. Then after that, after 30, 40 years, 50 years, then they start to publish the paper and news about the nuclear. Then there is people coming soon giving a speech campaign saying they want to stop nuclear war in the future. So this is how history go. So we always read about history also. We always thought that Japan is a bad guy. But on the way around, if you see back Japan, read like other country, they will think that other country is the bad. But it's the past lah. That's why I don't dig into the past history. If not, it will create another war because the war is really over. What happened to US? What happened to what? If you read it in a consistent manner, you can see that all countries also suffer a lot from all the things.
Yeah.
Radioactive substances are dangerous if not handled properly. What is the best way to store radioactive substance?
Store inside thick concrete.
Yeah,
Or lead.
Yeah, thick concrete. How thick concrete? How long the concrete should be? Probably, yeah. How long, how thick?
This one, I don't know.
Usually it's 1 meter lah. You just take 1 meter of
Oh,
concrete, so it's
meter.
a very huge box lah. If you want to use it concrete, and if you want to use lead, probably around maybe one or 3 inches or maybe 2 inches lah should be enough to block the radiation. So they will put in the thick concrete around 1 meter or the lead box, and they will throw they will throw into the ocean. They dispose the nuclear waste in the ocean somewhere very far lah. They go to somewhere very far, the ocean that is somewhere very deep. Then you just throw the thing lah. Then the thing will fall into the deep ocean, because they need to find some way to throw it. But now Bill Gates very good leh. Now Bill Gates say no need to throw it. He want to collect all the radioactive waste, and he can recycle it to reusable energy and without causing explosion. So it's a new technology. So this world is progressing so fast. Obviously it's a new
I got a question.
Yeah.
What is half-life? I forgot. Is it the life of the radioactive
So we can see here, half-life is the time taken for the radioactive of specific isotope, where we know it's an isotope, to fall half of its original value. So let's see, is there any good image of half-life? So this is the original value of the half-life, that it actually reduced to half. There is a lesser radioactive that is being produced as the time go on. So like a very reactive nuclear, you depend on the half-life lah. So you can leave it outside for maybe million of years, then the thing no longer is a radioactive, it's the stone. It's just a normal stone only, as long as it becomes stable. At first it's unstable, but as the time pass by, then it will become more stable, and then it will no longer explode lah after it becomes stable. Some half-life is very short, some half-life is very long, but it is not the same as the mass reduced to half. Some students thought that maybe the thing becomes smaller because it become half. My teacher, you say half. No, it is still the same. We are talking about its value. We are talking about the radioactive material inside body. Where is it? We are talking about the value, the time taken for the radioactive value to half of its value, but it is not the mass. The mass is always the same mass, unless something goes into the air lah. But the mass is always the same, so not to be confused with that. Okay. Examiner use. Okay, what is this? Diagram 10 show a cell apparatus in an experiment. So this experiment. So when we look at the experiment, roughly what are they trying to do? What is this? What are they trying to do? Okay, so this one also, this is called, obviously this is a process of electrolysis lah. And what will happen to M? Yeah. M will become what?
Will corrode.
Yeah, will corrode, will become smaller, and the copper usually will go to this one. Also we can say for electroplating, and this one will become bigger, another one will become smaller, and the solution, okay, and the blue solution does not fade. Okay, the blue solution does not fade. The reason is because the metal M also is also the copper, so it actually take the copper from here. But if you're using other electrode, carbon or platinum, eventually the color of copper will fade, because of they take the copper from the liquid. But for this one, the color didn't fade. Okay, so roughly we know this is electrolysis process. Name the process of diagram 10. So what is diagram 10?
Electrolysis.
Okay, electrolysis. Name metal M. What is metal M? Yeah.
Copper.
Copper. What happened to M during the process?
Well, corrode.
It will corrode. Or it become thinner, up to you lah, huh? I don't want to corrode. And this copper ion will move to the another side. And what is this called? What is this thing? This thing got arrow. What does it mean?
Is it conductor?
Conductor. This one is called resistor.
Oh, resistor. Okay.
Resistor, variable resistor. Okay, if got arrow is variable resistor. If just like that, it is just resistor. Okay, variable resistor means you can adjust. What is the function of variable resistor?
Adjuster.
Yes, to control the current.
Control the current.
Okay, so we can use it as a thing to control the current. Be you don't want so much current to go so fast, or want it to go slow, so it's a button lah, huh? So you can adjust it. Usually we use it for light. Sometime in the hotel or rich people house, when there's a light to adjust to make the light brighter or less brighter, then we can use a variable resistor because we are controlling the current towards the light bulb. What is ammeter? A is the ammeter. What's the function of ammeter?
Forgot already.
Ammeter, of course, ammeter is to detect the current, to know the current, and another one is voltmeter to know the voltage.
Measure.
Okay, to know the voltage. So the voltmeter need to put like that lah. You need to know that if you want to put current, you need to put along the thing, along the wire. And if you want to put voltmeter V, it must be between the battery. Okay, then you only can measure the voltage. If the question ask, I don't know lah, many things the question can ask, so nobody knows, but you should know because you are going for exam. Which metal function as the cathode? So which one is cathode?
Iron key.
What?
Iron key.
Iron key. Why iron key is the cathode?
Because it receives copper.
So we can see, look at the battery. So the battery here is negative. Here is positive. So if negative, sure this is cathode. And if positive, here sure is anode. So usually I just write like this first. Anode, and I write cathode. Cathode, anode. So cathode is negative. So negative will light positive. So copper, copper is positive, 2 plus copper. And usually if there is a water solution, if aqueous solution, I will put H plus. Aqueous lah, but this is copper sulfate. This also got H plus. And then for anode, so anode will get negative, you will get SO4. Or for the solution, we have H2O so we have the hydroxide ion on the anode that is to be discharged. Okay. Okay, which metal function as cathode? Okay, so because the battery here is negative, so it will be the iron key. Okay, put here iron key. Electrical energy is produced by chemical reaction. You are provided with iron nail, zinc, wire, bulb, and lemon. Design a simple cell to light up the bulb. So how you want to do this? Okay, very good. I think you did a good job, but there's a few things you need to add. Why is it?
I believe you're muted.
Yeah, very good. Okay, so you need to add the label. I think that so far so good.
Yeah.
So there's just put light, and then the wire. I know why cable wire. What is this? put iron nail, zinc, wire. So you just label lah, wire. So
Yeah.
this one you put lemon.
Plate.
Lemon is here.
Ah, yeah.
Lemon. Draw the lemon lah. Draw the lemon and then the lemon and then the electrode, which is, what is the electrode? Iron, nail and zinc. Iron, nail and zinc. Okay, what is this? Z-I-N-K, zinc. Z-I-N-C, zinc. Okay, anyway, I think should be okay. Okay, we go to any what is the difference between electroplating and electrolysis? Electrolysis is we can see like in this picture that it is producing from electric energy to chemical energy, correct?
Okay.
And electroplating means electroplating. We are plating some. We want to cover something in order to what? So is it the same? No, it's not the same, because if you are doing electrolysis, doesn't mean it must be electroplating, because it could be just to discharge hydrogen and oxygen if you just do it on water, for example. And let's say I change it to carbon electrode and water. It is electrolysis, but it is not electroplating. But if I want to use copper solution with copper, it is electroplating and electrolysis. So maybe if the bigger subset will be electrolysis and the smaller subset will be the electroplating. Of course the function is different lah. Electroplating is you want to electrode the substance, maybe to make it bigger or to reduce the corrosion and more protection or what. But electrolysis is just to get the chemical things that you want. Did I answer your question?
Yes.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, very good. And of course, electrolysis, the opposite of electrolysis is, we call this as like a simple cell. Simple cell, where we are using chemical energy and we are changing it to electric energy. So that is why we call it the simple cell. So either we want to call it simple cell from chemical energy to electric energy, or we want to call it as a electrolysis, where it uses from electric energy to chemical energy. But of course you are not really it's not really that efficient, because there's always energy loss, and it's a common thing of energy loss. Even if you're using petrol, I think the most efficient car also, there's the energy loss of 40%. So in the 100% car energy of petrol that you bought, actually you are using only 60%. 40% is wasted energy, maybe sound or heat. Your car engine is very hot, so a lot of energy is wasted for sound and heat in the engine. Section C, answer the question 11, question 12, and 13. So we are going to answer just one question first for this video. Study the following information. A student find out the load of 500 gram mass has a longer oscillation period compared to the load of mass 100 gram. Let me read again. Find out the load of mass of 100 gram has a longer oscillation period compared to the load of 100 gram. So when you read this statement, you should able to imagine what the student want to do and why he want to do. You need to imagine why he want to do like that. So of course this thing is talking about inertia. And if you still remember the experiment that we do last time, is like the heavier the mass, the bigger the oscillation also. So of course that will be more basic one but if I'm to answer, I wouldn't say that it is wrong if you say that. But of course we are going to form 5 So when we go to form 5, we want to write the answer more comprehensive a bit. and for Malaysia syllabus, usually they just follow the marking scheme. So if the marking scheme write inertia, then it is follow inertia. But I feel a bit not fair lah, because if you remember Form 1 or Form 3 experiment, usually we start the experiment with the hypothesis: the heavier the pendulum, the more oscillation, or the longer the length of pendulum, the higher the. So actually there's a few hypotheses we don't know actually. We don't know what is the hypothesis for this experiment. Oh, can we know we can say the hypothesis of this experiment, like the heavier the load. So what is the hypothesis of the experiment?
The larger the mass, the larger the mass, the larger the inertia.
The larger
the mass, the longer the oscillation period.
Yeah, the larger the mass, the larger the inertia, or the larger the mass, the more oscillation period. Okay, the larger the mass, the more not the more, the higher lah, the higher the object inertia. And this is correct because this is according to the marking scheme. In the marking scheme, they didn't say that the higher the mass, the bigger the increase the number of the oscillation. So I think that would be wrong because that is not in the marking scheme. But I will give correct lah. But the reason I mention this is because sometimes students feel confused because when they answer they get this wrong and that wrong. Actually it could be both correct, but because due to the marking scheme in the Malaysia is very strict, so they just want that particular. So, but of course this is more like Form 5, more high tech a bit lah. But the reason I tell this so that students won't confuse. Sometimes you are correct, but the teacher give you wrong because it is not in the marking scheme. But what I want student to learn is the concept, and it's not just the marks that we want, but we want to know the concept. So if the same thing like that, it is still correct. I just want to let you know it is still correct. Yeah. State one problem statement of the above information. Okay, does mass affect
oscillation period or inertia?
Yeah, inertia. Very good. Okay, the inertia of object. Okay, does the mass affect the oscillation? Possible is correct, but the marking scheme say the effect does the mass affect the inertia of object, which is more comprehensive. Does the mass affect the oscillation? It can be lah, it can be, but this will be more accurate. But it depends on the experiment whether we want to study about the inertia or you want to study about the oscillation. So the whole flow of the experiment. If you want to talk about the oscillation, then your whole experiment is oscillation. If you want to study about the mass and the inertia, it will be mass inertia, mass inertia, mass inertia, and mass inertia. Of course, this one is more comprehensive for Form 5 lah. This one is more like Form 3, Form 4 level. Okay, so hopefully so you get the picture and you imagine why we are doing this experiment. It's actually a slightly different objective, but both is correct, depend on the researcher what he want to get. We not only to get mark, we want to understand, and next time we can apply this in life. Beyond the given statement, design a laboratory experiment to test a hypothesis of 500 and 100 grams. So what is the aim of the experiment?
Aim of the experiment.
To what?
To investigate.
Okay, to investigate.
Investigate between mass and inertia.
Okay, to investigate the relationship between mass and between the mass and the inertia of the object. Okay, inertia of the object, or you can also say to affect the oscillation period. Both also can, I think, oscillation period, but both is also correct, but the answer in the book is the oscillation period lah. So some teachers very strict, they also will give the student wrong, but actually I just want to mention this so student won't get confused, because student confused why this one correct, one is wrong. Actually both is also correct, it's just the marking scheme say like that, and the Malaysian marking scheme is very strict, so they need to follow. But for me it correct. Why I say it's correct, because what is the purpose of the experiment? The purpose of the experiment is to study to test the hypothesis, which is to know the hypothesis is that we do. What is the hypothesis? The larger the mass, the higher the what am I writing? The higher the object inertia. So whether you want to say the first sentence or the second sentence, it is still fulfilling the hypothesis of the experiment. So that's why I say 1 and 2 is correct, but sometimes students get wrong, and because they write the first sentence, because the teacher is very strict at the marking scheme. So this is the okay, identify the variable. So what is the variable? What is the manipulated variable?
Manipulated variable is the mass of the object, of the load.
Mass of the load. Okay, how about the responding?
Responding is oscillation period.
Oscillation period. How about the constant?
Constant.
Constant variable.
Length of the track.
Length of the track. Okay, it's very good. Procedure. So what is the procedure? Can you roughly tell me the procedure?
Procedure. My teacher say can either draw diagram or write the procedure.
Yeah. So which one you like to choose?
I think draw lah.
Yeah. Okay. I think draw is better, because it gives the impression to the examiner that the student know what they are doing. So you draw lah. You draw the pendulum, you draw the retort stand, something the retort stand. Then you draw the thing, and the first sentence usually always is what? What is the first sentence?
Prepare.
Yeah. Okay. So usually the first sentence I will recommend students to say apparatus. I don't want to. I just say lah, because I have no time to write right now, and then later I got to write. Okay. Apparatus as in diagram 1 is being arranged, being prepared, anything lah. So you prepare this, then you just talk like share to your friend now. Okay. Put the 500 gram mass in the pendulum, and then you put it up. Let it go, and you calculate it. The time, the stretch will be always constant. After calculate the number of oscillation for 2 minutes, the load is being changed with 100 gram, and the load is being lifted up and let go at the same position. The time taken, the number of oscillation taken for the 2 minutes is being written down. Okay, you can get me or not? Yeah. Okay, so you use your own sentence. Some students think this is the hardest part because they need to read book and memorize. No.
Yeah.
Is this the hardest part?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, no, it's not the hardest part actually. You just draw the picture, you explain to your friend how you want to explain. So you just explain that you want to take this thing, you want to let go. After that, you want to change the thing, and then you take again, and you let go, repeat it, calculate it. Use your own word. It's easier actually. This is very easy. This is very easy. Everything is very easy. Actually, the more difficult is the problem statement. Problem statement is one of the hardest one. problem statement is the hardest. Hypothesis I think is easy. Problem statement is the hardest one. But once you complete the problem statement and the hypothesis, all this is easy already, because you already know the thing, the concept. When you're able to draw the picture, and then you just need to explain. You explain the picture, just imagine to explain the picture, and you can do it. Okay, and then we go to the last part, tabulation of data. So tabulation of data, in the data for a research, usually we do the data in terms of either you want to do it the graph, you want to do it a pie chart, or you want to do it a table form, up to you. But usually it's table form lah, because the reason we do table form, because the data there is a two variable only. I mean the variable is like, how to say, like two types of variable lah, two types of variable. So either you want to put on the left side or right side, up to you. I like to put on the left side, up to you. X, Y. So X will be the, maybe I put here the weight. I'm going to change the color. The weight. So maybe this one I put 100 gram. Okay, 100 gram. And this one I put 200 gram, 500 gram. And this is number of oscillation. Then you don't need to fill in the number. You just leave it empty. Can?
Yeah, can.
It's this one usually you get correct, is it?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So X and Y lah, remember to write in the variable, and usually sometimes students lose mark because they didn't do what?
The MV.
Yeah, they didn't write the unit sometimes.
Yeah, the
if you
unit,
want
yes.
to put the weight, make sure you write the gram. If not, how I know you put 100 means it's 100 kg or 100 gram. So usually the part that students lose mark is the unit, that the one that didn't put. And maybe for this one, number of oscillation, you want to put per minute if you want lah. So if more details, so the marking scheme didn't require, but you just write more in case how I know what the marking scheme want. But it shows to the examiner that you understand about the experiment. Okay, so we are going to take a short break. I see you in the next video. Thank you and bye bye.
Bye.